Welcome to Speak for Yourself, the most fearless show in sports. We're joined today by NBA champion Matt Barnes and Bleacher Report's Rick Bucher. Let's start in the NBA, where the Warriors will try to bounce back tonight after dropping Game 3 in overtime to the Rockets Saturday. Golden State can take a commanding lead with the win tonight, but one guy who hasn't been in command is Steph Curry, who shot just 7 of 23 in Game 3 and has been struggling so far in these playoffs, with a drop of nearly 4 points in his scoring average while averaging 4 fewer shot attempts per game. In fact, Curry's points per game in this postseason are a career low. All right, my take on this is that as Kevin Durant's pursuit of LeBron James has amped up, he doesn't bend to the Golden State system as much as he used to. And now it's the Kevin Durant system bending to Golden State, and that's not good for Steph Curry. That's what I think is at the heart. There's just too much ISO ball, which is not Steph Curry's forte.
I disagree with that. If you go to the latter part of the season with KD, the shots per game were going down, the assists were going up. He was a facilitator. He even made notice of that after Game 2 against the Clippers in the first series when he had to go in depth about how he's playing within the system. And even Steve Kerr had to come back after that and say, yeah, we need 20 or 30 attempts per game from you. So KD was playing within the system, but just the mismatches were too glaring for him not to take advantage of them. And I think from Game 3 on, he's been on that tear. LeBron doesn't factor into his mindset, I think, right now. What factors in is he looks like a guy who's already departed, but wants to make sure that the narrative isn't that I left and played with 1 foot out the door. So what is he doing? He's giving them all the buckets. He's giving them all the MVP performances. So when he leaves, no one can ever say that he shortchanged them in that process.
I love all the sinister underlying reasons that maybe KD is just on one. I mean, ultimately, the way he's playing, and yes, if the Warriors are going to concede to that, of course they are, because what he's getting is getting it so easily that how can you turn away from that? And I think that's been the case from the very beginning. I believe that Draymond Green recruited him, understanding that as good as Steph is, we might need a little bit more. And if we can go get a guy who can get his anytime he wants without being challenged. I mean, you watch him right now, he can't even see the defensive player in his screen when he's rising up to shoot.
Right.
Steph has to work really hard to get what he gets, especially once you get to the playoffs and you can game plan for him. So I don't believe it's like KD trying to X him out or that he's basically hijacking the Warriors. I think the Warriors look at him and say,
I meant nothing
go
sinister.
At it.
I meant nothing sinister. The guy's he's the best player in the world right now. He's showing that. There's no sinister to it, but it just doesn't work for Steph Curry.
Kobe told me something one time when we were teammates, and I think this is a similar zone that KD is in. Kobe said he never looks at his defender. He keeps one eye on the second guy, but he's always watching that third defender because he knows that's how much attention he draws. So I think that's the zone that KD is in right now. KD knows that there's not a person on the planet that can stop him. There's probably not 2 people at once that can stop him. So he's in his zone. And I think with him being more aggressive, it's just the maybe 2 or 3 shots more that Steph's not getting. But at the same time, I just think, Steph's not playing that bad. He's had a couple bad games, but he's still averaging, 22, 23 points a game. You know what I mean?
Efficiency, though. Shoot, 25.
He's not as efficient, you know what I mean? But
you saw the missed dunk, man.
I get that.
In crunch time.
It happens.
We've never seen a wide open missed dunk in
It happens,
time.
Just like earlier in the season where Clay was in a slump and it only took 1 shot for him to have 60. You know what I mean? So Steph is a similar player. He's 1 shot away from getting hot. And if you're banking on Steph continuing to play bad for your hopes to win this series, it's not a good bet.
This is what troubles me about the assessment of Steph, is that it's always at the offensive end, and it's the pure numbers.
He's been terrible on defense.
No, I would disagree with that.
That last game?
But he has been put on an island consistently. Guys one-on-one are going to get beat. It's a matter of whether you stay beat and how hard do you make that guy work to go by you. He has done an admirable job, especially for him in this series. And when you're working that hard at the defensive end and they're constantly targeting you, that's going to affect you at the other end.
That's a great point.
Steph's also of the mindset that, look, KD's got it going on. I don't have a problem with that. So he is going to concede.
Yeah, but when you concede, I've never seen somebody concede. You concede in shot attempts, but once you shoot your shot, you're not conceding in that moment. You're trying to make your shots. He's inefficient right now. So that's not about KD. That's about Steph not playing up to his level. And unfortunately, we have a resume of Steph Curry not playing up to his level in crunch performance.
But I think this is why you have this kind of team right now. Why Steph is not doing as well as he possibly can. Draymond's playing out of his mind and showing his worth.
Yeah.
You know, Clay is being solid. So this is the reason why you have this team. You know, KD is, like we said, on another planet. I think Rick made a great point. They're using that old Cleveland Cavaliers system where they're putting Steph in every pick and roll. And when you have to work every single possession on defense, it's definitely going to affect your legs on offense. But like I said, he's 1 or 2 shots from going for 50. And, you know, me personally being a former teammate and watching their games now, I'm not worried about Steph. Like I said, if you're banking on Steph playing bad for you guys to win this series, you don't have a shot.
Oh, okay, let me ask this question, though, that we didn't prepare for this one, but do you feel as confident after Game 3 that they're going to take this series? Isn't there a little question mark in your mind coming off that Game 3?
I don't think so. You know, I think Steph didn't play as well as he can, and they lost a tough game in overtime. To me, the Warriors are sitting like, okay, we should have, and could have got that game. You know, Game 4 is ours. We're going to go back and finish Game 5. If Game 4 happens to be theirs, maybe it goes 6. But I see the Warriors still winning this in 6.
It's not a matter of this series, but my question as to whether they're going to win it all continues to go in that direction. Because for every additional game they have to play, the more they're going to be worn down, the more they're going to be ready to get knocked off at the end against whoever comes out of the East.
Yeah, it's amazing. The Clippers took 2 games from, well, you know, Houston already got 1. They may get 1 more, 2 more. It's a
3
chunk
more, maybe.
It's a chunk.
I don't buy it, but it could happen.
Yeah, the chunk of flesh that you're losing in the process of advancing every level. I will say this, Chris Paul has not been Chris Paul by the numbers, by the contract, by the status of who he is. If this can turn Chris Paul on, we're talking about Steph Curry on the other side, Chris Paul's not giving them buckets. Chris Paul's not giving them assertiveness. If he can be Chris Paul, then you got you a series.
Now you're talking about 2 guys, Chris Paul and Steph Curry, that are playing with 2 of the best isolation players in NBA history, and neither one of them are producing. Again, I don't think this is sinister. I think it's a ramification that you can. Kevin Durant can just walk the ball up court and get any shot he wants. Yeah. That's not the system that Steph.
Yeah, it's funny that you should know this from Kobe, and everyone used to call it Kobe watching. Like you get on the court and you just
watching because he's so talented, he's so good.
And his isolation would take you out of your flow and your fluidity, and next thing you know, you haven't made the cut that you should have made. You haven't put yourself in position to succeed. Maybe we're seeing some of that effect.
But I'm saying if Steph hit 2 or 3 more shots each game, we're not having this conversation. I just think this is the road to a three-peat. It's never going to be easy. They're going to get pushed. You know, they're going to continue. You know, everyone is shooting for them. And like we talked off camera, is this their last dance? You know what I mean? If it is, it's not going to be easy. You know what I mean? So we're going to have to wait and see. The one thing I don't like about the Warriors is their bench isn't as strong as it's been in the past. And their starting 5 now is going to take a lot of minutes. So can we consistently count on 2 or 3 guys coming off the bench, or maybe 2 guys to give them minutes, points, and defensive efficiency they need to carry throughout the playoffs?
They're already starting Andre Iguodala or Sean Livingston, and that leaves your bench depleted. Those guys are playing long, hard minutes. That's why I think it's going to be a matter of attrition, and it's going to catch up.
I want to throw one more curveball. I watched the Denver-Portland game. Was that last night? I was sick. I can't remember. All I did was watch TV.
Got the hair fresh, though. You weren't that sick.
But I watched Denver last night, and I was just like, this is the system that brings out the best in Steph Curry. If he were playing in this Denver system with all the ball movement and man movement, that's when he's at his
center
best.
Playing point?
No,
Center, point center?
They just share the ball and move the ball a lot better. It's like watching 2 different NBAs, watching Portland and Denver versus Houston.
But at the same time, everyone took their system from Golden State.
Yes.
This ball movement, cutting, passing, utilizing all 5 options is what Golden State is known for. And I think now they can. You're right.
They're not doing it now.
No, it's true.
I understand where you're
But
coming from.
they have the one thing that nobody else has. They have KD. You're telling me he can get his shot anytime. Yeah. Are you telling me that, that's really nice, but we're going to play team ball and we're going to move it around? Ultimately, not even the Lakers in their heyday with Kobe or Michael would do that.
There's other ways, though, to get Kevin Durant. I would like to see him occasionally just post up from 12 feet, draw a double team. There's other ways.
They play team ball against the Clippers, and they got a split. at home. Now, we know one of those was just a miracle game, but still, they were saying, we're playing team ball. Then they said, let's just play the way that we can win this series.
I think we've been poking at KD for so long. Prove you're the best. Do this, do that. Now he's finally doing it. You know, so now we're saying he's not passing enough, and now Steph's not getting shots. Like I said, Steph is a shot or two for going away from 50, and if he makes 2 or 3 more shots each game, we're not even having this conversation. So to me,
can't wait till tomorrow.
It's more of Steph just having a couple rough games than anything else.
All right, so we know Matt's opinion. He's not remotely worried about Steph Curry moving forward. Are you, Marcellus?
Absolutely. I mean, best indicator of future behavior is past behavior, and we've seen Steph Curry, a pure finesse player. When you start to get physical with him, he starts to check his physical gauges. And what happens then? Check engine light comes on. We saw it a couple years ago in Houston with the slip. People saying he was hurt in the finals against Cleveland. People say he wasn't hurt. All I know is I saw a dude during a timeout try to dunk, which told me, you're not hurt. And then LeBron went up there, smacked it away, and looked at him like, bro, what's the hell are you trying to do? I'm #1 on this planet. So we gave him a pass for that one. Now we're here again after every missed shot. Watch Steph. Grabbing them fingers, that tape, looking at it. Ankles are already injured coming into the series. I was this type of player, too. Before every game, I just checked my gauges. And if one of them was just a little off, I'm like, I'm taking notice of that. And some guys could just put that to the side, compartmentalize, and just go out there with the flow. But Steph Curry, a pure finesse player, he looks affected. And I think we have reason to be concerned.
I agree. I just believe it's the physical problems that he's having right now. The dislocated finger, even if it's on his offhand, he needs to be able to cross over and be able to handle to get everything that he gets. The ankle, he's obviously had those issues. But all that's going to take away from a guy who's 6'2", 190, playing against long, athletic guys. He needs to have everything working, and right now it's not.
Yeah. All right, stick around later in the show. We'll give you our approval ratings for Steph Curry, and Uncle Jimmy will tell us what he thinks of the Warrior star. Coming up, LeBron says he was shocked and outraged by Magic Johnson's abrupt departure from the Lakers. We'll tell you if we're buying it. And don't forget to check us out on the Fox Sports channel on SiriusXM.